Hey, Stepsters! I'm Lasya.
And I'm Kritika, and we're your trainers from Future Steps.
Today, we're going to talk about the different states of matter. We're going to go on an adventure to learn about all about matter. Matter is truly everything around us, from the toys you play with to the air you breathe in. If it takes up space, it's matter. Are you ready to explore the different kinds of matter that make up our amazing world? Well, let's get to it.
Okay, so the next couple slides are for grades 1 to 2. Solid explorers. So let's start talking about solids. Solids stay in shape. They're special because they can keep their own shape. They don't spread out or change easily no matter where you put them. They're strong and stable. So think of your favorite toy, a big rock, or even a cold ice cube. These are all solids and they hold their form very well. So if you think about a big rock, no matter how hard you press it, it's not going to change its shape. Now it's your turn. Look around your room right now. Can you find three solid things? Touch them and feel how they keep their shape.
Now let's talk about liquids. Liquids are different forms of solids because they're different from solids because they love to flow and move. They don't have their own shape, but they can change their shape easily. When you pour a liquid, it takes up the space or the shape of whatever container you put it in. Think about water, yummy juice, or cool milk. Whenever you pour them into a glass or a container, they take that shape. Grab some water and a few different shaped cups. Now pour the water from one cup to another. Watch how the water changes its shape to fit it with new containers. Comment down below the different shapes you saw and how liquid can change its shape according to the container you put it in.
Okay, so now let's talk about gases. Gases are like our invisible friends. They're all around us, but sometimes we can't even see them. They're often invisible, but they take up space just like solids and liquids. They spread out wide. Gases love to spread out. They will fill up every tiny bit of space in whatever container they're in. Think about the air you breathe or the gas inside a balloon. Now, feel the air. Get a balloon and blow it up. As you blow, you're putting gas inside. Feel the balloon get bigger and harder. That's the gas filling up the space.
Now, let's talk about how the matters like that we talked about, the matter, different states of matter, how they can change from one to another. It's very magical, right? So first, let's talk about how solid changes to a liquid. Imagine an ice cube. When it gets warm, it melts and turns into liquid water. That's a solid changing into a liquid. There's also liquid where liquid can change into a solid. So, for example, if you just take a cup of water and put it into your freezer, it turns into a solid or an ice cube, right? In that container. So that's an example of how liquid turns into a solid. Next, let's look at how liquids turn into gases. Now, if you heat the water, like when it boils, it turns into steam, right? That steam is also known as gas. So liquids can become a gas. In the same way, a gas can also become a liquid. What happens when that steam gets cold? It turns back into tiny drops of water. That's an example of a gas changing back into a liquid.
So the next couple slides are for grades 3 to 4. From one form to another. Melting magic. When ice, which is a solid, gets warm enough, it melts and turns into water, which is a liquid. This is how snow turns into puddles. Boiling bubbles. If you heat liquid water, it can get so hot that it turns into steam, which is a gas. You see this when water boils in a pot. Condensing coolness. When steam, which is a gas, gets cold, it can turn back into liquid water. This is how clouds form and how water droplets appear on a cold drink. Sublimation fun. Some special solids like dry ice can turn directly into a gas without becoming a liquid first. Ask a grown-up to show how dry ice in warm water to show you dry ice in warm water for a magical fog. Or you could even search up a video on YouTube about dry ice and see how it reacts with the water.
And comment down below your opinion on the dry ice and the magic fall.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the differences between solids, liquids, and gases. Solids keep their own shape. Liquids take the shape of the container they're placed in. Gases, on the other hand, also take the shape of the container they're placed in, like liquids. Now let's talk about their flow. Solids do not flow. Liquids, on the other hand, they flow. Like, you know how in the ocean or the beach, the water flows? That's an example of how liquid flows. And that shows you how liquid does have movement. And gases, yes, they definitely flow. And they spread out and are always around us. Now let's talk about how they fill their space when we place them into a container. Solid, it's only in its own space. Liquid too, if you place it into a container, it is only in its own space. Gas, on the other hand, fills all the available spaces in that container. This table helps us see how each state of matter is unique. Solids are rigid and they hold their shape, while liquids are fluid and they take the shape of their container. Gases are the freest of all, spreading out to fill any space they can find.
Now, matter all around us. Now that we know about solids, liquids, and gases, let's look at how much matter is all around us every single day. Your sturdy desk and your favorite books are solids. The refreshing water you drink and the yummy juice in your cup are liquids. And the air you breathe, even though you can't see it, is a gas. As you can see in the images, the balloon can show the air inside of the balloon, which is a gas. This, for example, which could possibly be shampoo or the water in the cup, are both liquids. And then the pillow and the solid cube are solids.
Now, onto a fun experiment. Make oobleck. Ask a grown-up for cornstarch and water and mix them into 1:1 ratio in a bowl. So that means 1 cup of cornstarch to every 1 cup of water. Next, punch it. So when you punch or squeeze oobleck, it acts like a solid. The harder you hit, the more solid it feels. Finally, let it drip. But when you relax your hands, right, and leave the oobleck just hanging out like that, oobleck will drip through your fingers like a liquid. It is so surprising and fun how oobleck can have two states of matter in it, and hence it's known as the non-Newtonian fluid. This means it can sometimes act like a solid and sometimes like a liquid. It's a fantastic way to see how the properties of matter have been in action.
Okay, matter masters. Solids, liquid, and gases. You're now a master of all the three main states of matter. You know what makes each one special. Changing forms. You learned that matter can magically change from one state to another, like ice melting into water, or vice versa. Everything is matter. Remember, everything around you, big or small, visible or invisible, is made of matter. Now keep exploring. The world of science is full of amazing discoveries. Keep asking questions and exploring the matter all around us, all around you. And that is all we have for today. I hope you comment down any questions, concerns, or anything fun you would like to let us know. We will hope to see you in our next video. Bye, Stepsters!
Past sisters.